Hello, my name is Jasmine Rocha. I'm going to be presenting the indigenous population. Starting off November 20th, 1910, we can obviously know who this is, dictator Porfirio. War began because at first he was idolized, he was helping communities, he was making pretty good fair trade, but he was making efforts in westernized Mexico, made foreign investments, exchanges with other people, created railroads, and the wealth was the one really most benefiting it because of all the production he was doing. But the ones who were not benefiting from it is the lower class. So the lower class was the more prominent out of this case. Tension over upper and lower class. So there was tension. Diaz issued land reformation. So Diaz is the person who wanted to issue land reformation. But the land in the church was being for governmental use. So since the lower class was enriched in the church, and they had some land, they were getting it bought and taken away from them, which they made them very angry because that was a part of them. If you're obviously living on your land or your home, basically, it's being taken away from you. And furthermore, they were being forced for labor work under the hacienda system. Moving on, we have Francisco Madero, obviously the man who overthrew Diaz. Madero was running against Diaz and then jailed him to prevent him from jail him and prevent him from running for office, as you can say, for another word. He also created an anti-Reconnaissance party. It was like an anti Diaz, not to have him reelected. During the election, Madero won more votes and won victory, which is not what he wanted. He was very angry. People began to see him as a revolutionary leader. The church wanted to interfere with politics at this time too. They wanted to be more involved with the church. The church wanted to be more involved with the politics, and he wasn't agreeing with the idea. In 1923, a man against Madero, Emiliano Zapata, he was against the hacienda system. He tried to peacefully make negotiations of land. So he was more of a speaker, more of an idolization, as you could say. He wasn't really president, but he was an activist who wanted to create a plan, which he did, create a plan of Ayala. And eventually the land was bought from Huerta, which was the person who we just talked about previously before. Division del Norte, which was against the dictatorship of Huerta. So there was two parties, dictatorship, and then some were for dictatorship, and some were for more liberty and for other thoughts. The Mexican Revolution ended up ending dictatorship and established a constitutional republic. The Mexican Revolution sparked the Constitution in 1917, which provided for separation of church and state, government ownership, holding land groups, the labor to organize and strike many aspirations. So overall, the Mexican Revolution was a big historical event that happened for the indigenous people because they had a lot of people who were on their side, and there was versus vice versa. And there was a lot of events that had to happen. Over millions of Mexicans got killed over issues that were occurring with the land and much more. It was a revolution that needed to happen, unfortunately, so that we could see change and that there was liberation for the Indigenous people. Thank you.